Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining me for this feeling grounded slow flow. You might need 2 blocks, a yoga belt, or anything that you can think of to replace. And when you're ready, just go ahead and meet me on the mat.
Get close to you. Get close to you. Get close to you.
Alright, so when you guys are ready, you can go ahead and grab your blocks. Place it towards the top of your mat. Same thing for your yoga belt, because that's probably where you're going to need it to begin. And we're simply going to start in a simple seated cross-legged position towards the end of your mat. So when you're here, I'll invite you to place your hands to rest on your knees, palms facing down if you need a bit more grounding, facing up if you need a bit more energy. Always ensuring that your spine is straight and long, shoulders are down and away from your ears. Also invite you to close your eyes if you haven't already done so. Starting to bring your focus and awareness inward, focusing on your breath, your body. Maybe also taking the time to activate your Ujjayi breath, so inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Always ensuring here that each inhalation and exhalation are as equal as possible. Before we start, we're going to do a little breathing exercise. So we're going to inhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and gentle hold at the top and open mouth side out. We're going to do this 2 more times. So we're going to inhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, gentle hold at the top and open mouth side out. 1 last here. Inhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and hold and open mouth, exhale. Next inhalation, take the time to reconnect to your Ujjayi breathing. So inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Always making sure that each inhalation and exhalation is as equal as possible. You can also take this time to put an intention on your practice for your day. Next inhalation, we're slowly going to start to glide your hands forward. So palms facing down. Slowly, when the weight is on your knees, you're going to uncross your feet. So feet are going to slowly come together. So big toes are going to touch. And with your exhalation, you're going to glide your bum back. Find your child's pose. So you're sitting your bum towards your heels here. And maybe your forehead is going to melt down all the way down on the mat. So knees should be a little wider than hip distance. Taking the time here with each exhalation to really find a bit more comfort. Really settle in the shape. Next inhalation, I'm going to slowly lift up on the fingertips. And with your exhalation, we're going to walk both hands towards the right. When you're here, you have the option to stay here, so keeping one hand beside the other. Or if you're a bit more flexible or want to try, you can try to walk your left hand over the right. With your exhalation, let your forehead melt down towards the ground, making sure that you're keeping your shoulders at the same height. Next inhalation, we're slowly going to lift up on the fingertips. And with your exhalation, you're going to walk both hands towards the left. Again, once you're here, you have the option to keep one hand beside the other or try to walk the right over the left. You're going to exhale, let your forehead melt down towards the ground, keeping your shoulders at the same height. Focusing on your breath, your exhalation here to help you find a bit more comfort in the posture. Next inhalation, you're slowly going to lift up on the fingertips. And with your exhale, I'm just going to walk both hands in front of you. Going to inhale, press those hands down, curl your chin and really round into the upper back. Glide it forward to your tabletop position. When shoulders are over wrists, we're going to slowly untuck the feet, tuck the toes, and slowly with your exhale, let your hips glide you back, finding your downward facing dog. When you're here, always ensuring that you're taking enough space on the mat. You can also take the time to paddle out the legs. If you're a bit tighter in the legs, I always suggest that you keep the heels lifted, a slight bend in the knees, really focusing on pressing the chest towards your thighs, looking towards the belly button. Gonna take 2 more breaths here, trying to find more comfort in the shape. Next inhalation, I'm going to press those hands down, really curl your chin and round into the upper back, glide it forward to your high plank. When shoulders are over wrists, I'm going to exhale, drop the belly, lift the tail, lift the gaze, bend the knees as much as you need, let your hips glide you all the way back to your downward facing dog. Do that 2 times more, so inhale to wave it forward. Exhale, drop the belly, lift the tail, lift the gaze. Head is the last thing to come back down. Last one here. Inhale to wave it forward, really round into the upper back. Exhale, drop the belly, lift the tail, lift the gaze. When you make it back, slowly inhale, right leg comes up. Make sure that your hips are squared facing the front of the mat. You can do that by flexing the right foot, making sure those toes are pointing down. Leg is as straight as you can, doesn't matter how high it is. We're going to take a big inhale, lift your left heel off the mat. With your exhale, curl your right thigh in, stay here, press the floor away for 3. Shoulders are over wrists 2. And with your exhalation, simply let that right leg lower down, prepping yourself here for your pigeon pose. When you're here, take a moment, make sure your hips are squared towards the front of the mat, so you're not letting yourself fall out on your side. Here, you can always take your block, place it underneath your bum, underneath your right butt cheek. So you're making sure also that your right foot to begin is touching your left hip bone. As you get more flexible, your hips, pelvis touches the floor, you can start to walk your right shin more parallel to the front of the mat. If you do that, make sure your right foot is flexed. So wherever you are, we're going to inhale, place those fingertips in front of you. Make sure your shoulders are down and away from your ears. We're going to do some little chest circles following your own breath. You're gonna take a big inhale, lead with your heart towards the right. And with your exhale, same thing but towards the left. We're gonna do one more on each side, so towards the right. And last one towards the left. Next inhalation, you're gonna plant both hands in front of you. Make sure shoulders are down and away from your ears. And with your exhalation, simply let yourself melt forward. Focusing on your breath here, using each exhalation to help you release tension. I'm going to take 3 more breaths here. Next inhalation, you're slowly going to place your right, then your left hand, lift yourself back up. You're going to exhale. If you need to lift yourself up a little bit, you can do that. You're going to try and shift your weight onto your right. So you're just rolling towards the back, like this. When you're here, make sure that your left leg is straight in front of you, foot is flexed. You're going to bring the inside of your right foot inside your left thigh. Maybe you're gonna like to have your yoga belt for this one. So if you're using your yoga belt, you would place it underneath your left foot. With your inhalation, you're pressing your chest forward, making sure your shoulders are down and away from your ears. You're keeping your spine straight the whole time, this leg straight the whole time. And with your exhalation, working on slowly lowering yourself down. So choosing whatever variation that feels best for you today. You're gonna inhale, arms reach up. Make sure your shoulders are down and away from your ears. And with your exhalation, simply let yourself melt forward. Always focusing on keeping that gaze towards your toes to really help you keep those shoulders down and away from your ears. Focusing on your breath. Next exhalation, you're slowly going to release. Curl your chin to your chest, vertebrae for vertebrae. Come back to your straight back. You're going to inhale. Look towards your left side. You're going to plant that left hand down. With your exhalation, plant the tip of your right toes down. You're going to exhale, lift your hips up. Find your side stretch. Your wild thing vibes. Focus on your breath, really open up with your heart. And next exhalation, hips are gonna dip back down, so come back to the seated position. You're gonna look towards the right, so place your right hand, then your left. Inhale, curl your right thigh to your chest, hold it here, find your plank pose for 3. Thighs glued to your chest for 2. Next exhalation, lower your foot in between your hands. You're going to inhale, walk that left foot a little closer to the right. Back foot is at 45 degrees. Heels are in one line. Inhale, try and straighten your front leg. If you need, grab those blocks. Place it on each side of that right foot and make sure your spine is straight and long. Using whatever height of block that you need. Hips are square towards the front of the mat. You're going to inhale straight back. Exhale, let it melt forward. Focus on your breath. Can also walk your hands by your side. Next inhalation, plant those hands down on your blocks. Find your straight back. With your exhalation, you're going to let yourself glide towards the back edge of your mat with your left hand. You're gonna make sure your feet are in line. You can walk your feet a little wider if you want. You're gonna make sure your toes are facing in, heels are pointing out. We're gonna inhale, find your straight back and place your hands on your blocks. If you need, have your blocks here. And with your exhalation, we're gonna have 3 options for this one. So you can either keep your hands down on your blocks, make sure that you're keeping your elbows over your wrists. If your hands are down or on your blocks, you're shifting the weight towards the tip of the toes, and at first trying to imagine that you're gonna bring the crown of the head down on the mat. You can also grab the big toes or the back of the heels, so choosing whatever variation that feels best for you today. If you're grabbing onto your feet, make sure that your elbows are pointing towards the sky, so you're focusing on your breath, shifting the weight forward, trusting your body. Next inhalation, you're gonna press those hands down on your blocks, find your straight back. With your exhale, you're gonna walk yourself forward. So hips are squared towards the front of the mat. You're gonna wrap that right forearm behind your right shin. Walk your left hand forward, but towards the side. And with your exhale, shift the weight forward, find standing split. So make sure that you're really kicking towards the sky with your left leg. For 3, 2, and slowly you're gonna start bending into your right leg, bending into your left, bringing your left leg behind the right. You're gonna let your left leg come down. Find the seated position, finding Sup Tagamukasana here. So make sure your right leg is crossing over the left. When you're here, we're trying to stack right knee on top of the left. So maybe it's gonna look like this for you. Don't compare yourself to me. So starting with your heels touching your hips or your bum. And as you get more flexible, you can try and walk your shins more parallel towards the front of the mat. We're gonna inhale, arms come up, shoulders are down and away from your ears, and with your exhale, hands are gonna come down. Maybe you stay here, maybe hands are on blocks, maybe you lower down on the forearms. Focusing on your breath, keeping your spine straight and long, not comparing yourself to me. We all have a different practice. Next exhalation, you're slowly going to release, curl your chin in, vertebrae per vertebrae, come back to your straight back. You're going to inhale, look towards the left. You're going to place your left hand, then the right, simply finding your downward facing dog, facing the other side of the mat. So when you're here, taking a moment, 3 full breaths just to reconnect with the shape, making sure always that you're wrapping your arms around and in. Kind of imagining that your armpits are looking at each other. Next inhalation, you're going to take a big inhale, curl your chin in, really round into the upper back, wave it forward to your high plank. When shoulders are over wrists, exhale, drop the belly, lift it up, lift the gaze, let those hips glide you back. 2 more, inhale to wave it forward. Exhale, drop the belly, lift the tail, lift the gaze, bend the knees as much as you need. Last one, we're going to inhale, really round into the back of the heart. Exhale, drop the belly, lift the tail, lift the gaze. When you make it back, inhale, left leg lifts us up. 3-legged dog, ensuring your hips are squared. Leg is as straight as you can. Inhale, lift that right heel off the mat. With your exhale, curl that left thigh in. Press the floor away. Hold it here for 3, 2. Then slowly lower that left leg in front of you, prepping yourself for your pigeon on the other side. So making sure your hips are squared towards the front of the mat. If you need your block, placing your block. Your left foot is touching your right hip bone at first. Or you're walking your left shin parallel to the front of the mat, but you don't need to do that if your pelvis is not touching the floor. Don't need to torture yourself. So we're going to inhale, place your fingertips in front of you. Make sure your shoulders are down and away from your ears. You're going to take your little chest circle. So you're going to inhale, lead with your heart, big circle towards the left and towards the right. One more on each side, so towards the left. Last one here. Next inhalation, you're gonna press both hands down. Make sure your shoulders are down and away from your ears. And with your exhalation, simply let yourself melt forward. Focusing on your breath, taking a little moment here for yourself. Two more breaths here. Next inhalation, you're slowly going to place your left and your right hand down. Lift yourself back up. Going to exhale, shift the weight onto your left side to just find your half forward fold. So your right leg is extended in front of you. You're going to bring the inside of your left foot inside your right thigh. Both feet are flexed. Can always use yoga belt if you need. Inhale, arms come up. Shoulders are down and away from your ears. And with your exhalation, simply let yourself melt forward. Focusing on your breath, keeping that gaze towards your toes to really help you keep those shoulders down and away from your ears. Next exhalation, going to slowly release, curl your chin in, vertebrae per vertebrae, come back to your neutral spine. You're going to inhale, plant your right hand back and down on the mat. Come onto the tip of your left toes, and with your exhale, lift your hips, lift your heart. Playing some type of wild thing. Focus on your breath. And then next exhalation, come back to that seated position. You're going to look towards the left. Place your left hand, then your right. Curl that left thigh in, press the floor, hold it here for 3. Focus on your breath, 2. Then with your next exhalation, lower your foot in between your hands. You're gonna bring that right foot a bit closer to the left. Make sure heels are in line, back foot is at a 45 degree. You're gonna inhale, straighten your front leg. So if you need your blocks, use your blocks. Find your straight back. Exhale, slowly let yourself melt forward. Again, you can walk your hands behind if you need to help you go a little deeper. Again, using whatever height of blocks that you need. So avoiding any rounding in the upper back. Focusing on alignment. It's really what's going to help you see progress. Next inhalation, you're going to plant your hands down on your blocks, find your straight back. With your exhale, simply going to let yourself glide towards the back edge of your mat with your right hand. So finding the same position that we did before, feet are in line, toes are in, heels are out. You're going to inhale, find your straight back. Maybe you do the same thing that we did on the other side. Or with your exhale, inhalation, you're going to place your hands on your hips. Make sure shoulders are down and away from your ears. And with your exhalation, simply slowly let yourself melt forward. Always ensuring that you're shifting the weight towards the tip of the toes. Using your exhalation. Next inhalation, you're slowly going to release, plant your hands down on your blocks, find your straight back. You're going to exhale, walk yourself towards the front of the mat, wrap your left forearm behind your left shin, right hands come forward, but towards the side, find your standing split, so right leg kick is up towards the sky, shifting the weight forward for 3, focus on your breath, 2, Next exhalation, you're gonna bend into your left leg, bend into the right. Place your right leg behind the left. Slowly, right leg comes down. Find your seated position for your Sup Tagamukasana. So try and stack your knees. Again, it may look like this, but try and stack your knees on top of each other. Start with your heels touching your feet touching your bum. And then as you get more flexible, you can try and bring your shin parallel to the front of the mat, keeping your feet flexed. You're gonna inhale, arms come up. Exhale, hands come down in front of you on your blocks. Maybe you stay here or lower down on the forms. Not comparing yourself to me. Just focusing on your breath, your own journey. Next exhalation, you're slowly going to release, curl your chin in, find your straight back, going to look towards the right, place your right hand then the left. Simply find your downward facing dog, facing the front of the mat. Again, take a moment here, 2 full breaths, just reconnecting with the shape, making sure you're pressing your chest towards your thighs. Next inhalation, I'm going to walk your feet wider than hips distance, so as wide as your mat. You're going to walk your hands a little closer to your feet so you can keep a slight bend in the legs if you need. You're going to make sure your heels are pointing in, toes are pointing out. You can bring your blocks, both blocks if you need, closer to you. So when you're here, you can have your hands on your blocks if you want, fingertips if you're more comfortable, or hands all the way down. We're going to inhale, try and find your straight back. And with your exhale, you're going to sit your bum back, finding kind of a yogi squat here. So we're going to inhale, try and straighten your legs. Maybe bring your toes in, straight back. Exhale, toes are out, sit your bum back. We're going to do 3 more like this. So inhale, lift up. And exhale, toes are out, sit your bum back. Inhale, lift up, toes come in. Exhale, toes come out, sit your bum back. Last one, inhale. And exhale. When you're here, you can bring your hands to prayer to heart. If you have a hard time keeping your spine straight, you can always sit your bum underneath some blocks, making sure that you're really using your arm strength to press your legs out, keeping your spine straight, pressing your chest forward. Next exhalation, simply gonna sit your bum all the way down onto the mat. Gonna straighten both legs in front of you. Make sure your legs are glued together, feet are flexed. If you need, you can use your yoga belt again. Place it underneath your feet. We're gonna inhale, arms come up. Make sure shoulders are down and away from your ears. And with your exhalation, simply let yourself melt forward. Again, focusing on your breath, using each exhalation to help you create more space. Keeping your gaze towards your toes. Next exhalation is slowly going to release. Curl your chin in. Vertebrae per vertebrae. Come back to the neutral spine. For your next exhalation, you're going to plant your feet down. You're going to grab onto your shins. Curl your chin in. Simply round into your back. Lower your lower back, middle, and upper. When you're here, take a moment. We're going to inhale. Straighten your arms in front of you. Palms are facing down. You have the option of just staying here, straightening your legs up on top of you, keeping your feet flexed. If you want more and do the posture, you can follow me. So So we're gonna inhale, try and press your hands down, lift your bum. You're gonna try and place your hands onto your lower back, finding your shoulder stand. So when you're here, you're trying to stack your hips over your shoulders. Next exhalation, if you feel comfortable, you can start to lower your left, then your right foot behind you. Making sure you're really squeezing your abs to stack your hips over your shoulders. You're going to maybe want to interlace, if you want, your hands behind your back, if you feel comfortable. If you feel really comfortable, you can inhale. Slowly release your hands and glide your hands over your head. With your exhalation, try and bend into your legs. Maybe trying to one day place your shins down on the ground. If your shins are on the ground, really focus here on pressing those shins down. I'm not doing any crazy contortion move today. Next inhalation, slowly going to straighten both legs back. Going to place your hands on your lower back. Find your shoulder stand. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze for 3, 2, and slowly exhale. Bend into your legs. Lower, upper, middle, and lower back. Bringing both thighs to your chest here. You can take a little movement from side to side. Just going to inhale, flex both feet. You're going to grab your feet from the outside, finding your happy baby. When you're here, always ensuring that you're pressing those feet down towards the ground, maybe taking little movements from side to side. Next inhalation, slowly going to release. Bring both thighs together. Then going to exhale, extend your left, then your right leg in front of you. You need to readjust yourself a little bit like me. Can do so. Gonna shake your legs out a little bit. Let your arms fall out by your side, palms facing up. Simply prepping yourself for your final Shavasana. Taking this time to truly integrate everything that we just worked on today. Thank your body for this beautiful practice. As always, I truly hope that you enjoy this feeling grounded, slow flow, and that you have a wonderful day. Namaste.